Welcome to the deep dive. We're plunging headfirst today into the exhilarating, often unpredictable world of heavyweight boxing. And today we're unpacking a truly seismic announcement, one that has the entire boxing world buzzing. The confirmed return of the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, back to the ring in 2026. We've looked through recent reports, Sky Sports, BBC Sport, to really pull out the key bits of info about this pretty unexpected development.
Absolutely. And our mission for you, the listener, is to get beyond just what happened. We want to unpack why it matters. Like, what drove Fury to step back in after saying he was done? Who is he actually looking to fight? And what about the key players, the factors shaping all this? What does it really mean for boxing's future and, well, for Fury's own legacy? He's such an enigmatic figure.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. So, the massive news that just dropped. Tyson Fury has confirmed he's returning to boxing in 2026. Which feels pretty huge, doesn't it? Especially because he literally just announced his retirement, back in January this year?
Okay.
And that was right after, that unanimous decision loss to Oleksandr Usyk in their rematch, December 2024.
Right. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how quick this turnaround was. And also how we found out. It wasn't like a press release from Fury's team. It came from Turki Alalshikh, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority. He put it out there on social media, on X actually, saying Fury gave him his word for a 2026 comeback, specifically for Riyadh season.
Wow.
And Alalshikh, well, he wasn't subtle, was he? He said, the Gypsy King will be back. I talked with him, and I have his word. We have a rabbit to hunt.
Yeah, that's quite a statement. It sort of suggests a very direct, powerful influence at play.
Yeah, it really does. And Fury himself, well, he wasn't exactly silent either, was he? Dropping hints almost like he couldn't quite let it go, even before Alalshikh made it official. There was that social media post, April 18, 2026, Wembley Stadium, the trilogy.
Yeah.
That got everyone talking.
And another one, let's see what 2026 brings, with a picture of him and Alalshikh. Plus, we saw those little training videos with Sugar Hill Stewart popping up. It kind of felt like something was simmering.
It did. But still, the speed of the U-turn is pretty remarkable. Because just, earlier that same week, Fury told reporters, quote, no intention of coming out of retirement. He was questioning it, like, what would I be coming back for? There's not much to come back for.
Yeah, I remember that. He mentioned health, too.
Exactly. Does just the love of the sport overthrow my health? You've got to worry about your health. Your health is your wealth. Strong words. And then, boom, a complete reversal. It really makes you wonder, what actually changes a fighter's mind so fast after saying things like that? Is it just competitiveness or...
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? So, okay, he's back. Who does he want? He's not being coy about that. He said pretty directly, who would I rather fight right now? Usyk. I want my revenge in England. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yep. And just to remind you, the listener, Usyk's got 2 wins over Fury already, both in 2024. First was May, that split decision that made Usyk undisputed. Then December, the rematch, unanimous decision for Usyk.
Right, so 2 losses he wants to avenge.
From Fury's point of view, yeah, there's a massive score to settle.
Absolutely. And his motivation, or at least stated motivation for wanting this Usyk trilogy is, well, he thinks he didn't get a fair shout the last 2 times. He actually claims he won that second fight by 5 rounds.
Which is quite a take.
It is. He wants, quote, a fair result in England and a fair fight. He feels genuinely wronged. But like you said, given those comments about health, about being content, do you really think getting a fair result is the only thing pulling him back? Or is there maybe more to it?
That's a great point. I mean, look, wanting to correct what you see as a loss, especially for someone like Fury who sees himself as the best, that's powerful, no doubt. But let's be real. The kind of money involved in these huge fights, these Saudi-backed events, you just can't ignore that. For Fury, I suspect it's a mix. That hunger for legacy, for proving people wrong again, yeah, but it definitely intertwines with the incredible financial side that people like Alalshikh bring to the table. It's probably not just one single thing.
Okay, so Usyk is plan A. But if that doesn't happen for some reason, there's another huge name looming, isn't there? Anthony Joshua. Fury said a fight with AJ would be the biggest British boxing fight that will ever happen.
He really leans into that, doesn't he? The sheer scale of it. He thinks it would break all records, sell out Wembley 100,000 seats in an hour. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it. All the talk over the years, Fury and Joshua have never actually fought.
Never.
That fight.
Yeah.
Wow. Brief boxing fans have wanted that for ages. It would be absolutely massive.
And speaking of other heavyweights in the mix, Usyk's actually got a fight lined up pretty soon, right? Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, that's scheduled for July 19th at Wembley. So that's happening.
But Fury doesn't seem too bothered about Dubois potentially holding the belts if he were to beat Usyk.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He basically dismissed Dubois completely. Said something like, if I did come back, if I was to return and box Daniel Dubois, he wouldn't land a glove on me. It would be a one-sided beatdown.
Oh.
Yeah. Thinks their styles don't gel, says he would annihilate him. So very clearly setting his sights higher. On Usyk or Joshua?
And just to sort of connect the dots for you listening, remember it was Dubois who stopped Anthony Joshua last September.
Ah, right. I'd forgotten that detail.
Yeah, so it just shows how tangled this whole heavyweight picture is. One result shifts everything.
Looking bigger picture now, this whole retirement then return thing, it's not exactly new territory for Fury, is it? He retired back in April 2022, remember, after beating Dillian White. Said he was done.
Only to come back 6 months later to fight Derek Chisora. So we've seen this movie before, haven't we? What does that pattern tell us?
It really is a recurring theme. If you look back at his career, winning the title from Klitschko way back in 2015, then the Wilder fights beating him twice.
Epic fights.
Totally. Even surviving that massive scare against Francis Ngannou in 2023. All that before the Usyk losses last year. His career is just marked by these huge moments, these dramatic comebacks, always defying expectations. So maybe this return, in a way, just fits his story.
So how do we, or how do you, the listener, square these totally contrasting things he says? 1 minute he's happy, he's won everything, he's earned the right to chill out. The next minute he's confirming a comeback driven by revenge and breaking records. It's a bit of a paradox, right? What's going on inside the head of an athlete like that?
And I think that's where you have to bring in the influence of people like Turki Alalshikh. He's been such a key figure, as the reports say, in making Saudi Arabia a boxing hub, bringing all these massive fights there. The fact that Alalshikh is seemingly negotiating directly with Fury, announcing it on social media, it's not just about the money, though that's huge. It signals maybe a shift in how boxing works. You know, these powerful state-backed groups potentially bypassing traditional routes to make these mega events happen.
Interesting point.
Shows that sometimes, even for a guy like Fury, who's achieved so much and made so much money, the right offer, the right stage, the right historical fight,
Yeah.
that can just override everything else you said about wanting peace and quiet.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main takeaways from our deep dive here. Tyson Fury, 2026 comeback, it's on. His main target is clearly a revenge trilogy with Oleksandr Usyk. But if not, that massive all-British clash with Anthony Joshua, maybe at Wembley, is the backup plan.
Right. So here's something to chew on. Thinking about Fury's past retirements and those really strong recent quotes about health and being happy, what do you think is truly driving this comeback right now? Is it really just about fixing those losses, cementing his legacy? Or is the sheer scale of the money, the pull of these massive events put together by figures like Alalshikh, actually playing an even bigger part? What does this whole situation tell us about the dynamics of top-level pro sports today, and maybe the complex, sometimes contradictory reasons why its biggest stars do what they do?